Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. From the title, you might be wondering, like, where are the guests? Like you promised some guests. They'll be coming later in the episode. Basically, how this episode is going to work is I'm going to, for the first like 10, maybe 15 minutes, talk about like my All-Star predictions. Maybe talk about a few things here or there. Won't be really that long. And then I have a guest spotlight in the back half of the episode. It's really going to be like more than 30 minutes. So most of the episode is going to be that. But I'm just going to talk about like some of the stuff for the All-Star weekend, like my predictions and stuff. I'll show that on the screen. And then, yeah, it should be a pretty chill episode overall. So, I mean, obviously we have, and I'm kind of just scrolling on my thing. This is why I don't have like my mic right now, is because I have, my laptop right in front of me. And, there's the Rising Stars stuff. There's the dunk contest, 3-point contest, skills challenge, and then the All-Star teams. So the Rising Stars challenge, I'm not going to really talk about each one. I might I'll probably say everyone's name just because I think that's fair. And then, I'll maybe talk about a few things here or there. So the Rising Stars challenge, I had to pick 24 players that are rookies or sophomores, and then 8 G League people because I think they put a G League team together still. So, of course, you got Zachary Risager, you got Alex Sarr, Stephon Castle, Zach Edey, Bub Carrington, Dalton Connect, Tristan Da Silva, Yves Missy, Ryan Dunn, Jalen Wells. Those are all the rookies I have. And then the sophomores I have Wemby, Scoot, Amin Thompson, Asar Thompson, Bilal Coulibaly, Derek Lively, Grady Dick, Jordan Hawkins, Keontae George, Jaime Jaquez, Cam Whitmore, Bryce Sensabaugh, Tumani Kamara, Trace Jackson Davis, and then the 8 people I have from the G League, I got Bryce McGowans, Brandon Williams, J.D. Davidson, Trey Alexander, A.J. Lawson, Oscar Shibwe, Adama Sanogo, and Isaiah Stevens. Now, first thing you might be wondering from this list is, where's Brandon Miller? So, I wanted to put Brandon Miller on here, but I really don't think he's going to be healthy by the time of the Rising Stars Challenge, which is a little unfortunate. So that was tough. Yes, I do have Wemby in here. I still think he'll, be a part of it, even though I'm sure people are expecting bigger things from him this All-Star weekend. Guys like Yves Missy, I mean, he's really been up there like most of the year for like the rookie ladder. Jalen Wells as well. Maybe guys like Keontae George, you could argue because he's missed some time. I do think Trace Jackson Davis gets in. I don't recall if he might have been like a late addition or he didn't make it at all last year, but I know Brandon Podziemski made it. I don't think he's going to make it this year. I do think Trace Jackson Davis will. I still think Cam Whitmore will, even though he's kind of had a weird role. Trying to look if there's anything else notable from this, really. I do think Zachary Risager will make it. I know he hasn't had like the hype of a first overall pick, really, but he's actually played his role really nicely. So I got to give him credit there. Dalton Connect, Bub Carrington, these guys as well. I mean, obviously, Jared McCain would be on here too if he wasn't injured. So, yeah, that's kind of all I got to add. I mean, Grady Dick's had a great year. Jaquez is kind of taking a step back. I think Bryce Sensabaugh has actually had a good year, and so has Tumani Kamara. For a lot of the G League guys, I mean, Oscar Shibwe, we've seen him play well in the NBA too. J.D. Davidson, shout out J.D. Davidson. I met him at Summer League a couple years ago. And I had to go with a little homer pick with Adama Sanogo. So, that's kind of like my Rising Stars picks. Now we'll go up to the Skills Challenge. So I got 8 people I picked here. No real, I guess, logic behind the reason why, but, I just decided, why not go for it? There is a little logic for some of them because obviously it's in Golden State or it's in San Francisco. So the 8 people I have are Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Cade Cunningham, Bub Carrington, Jalen Wells, Alperen Sengun, and Bam Adebayo. So I guess I can kind of explain these. So I have 2 bigs at the end, Sengun and Bam. Kind of versatile to an extent, same way. 2 rookies in Bub Carrington and Jalen Wells. Both can play on the perimeter well. Both have the good ball handling capabilities. They can both shoot. Cade and Shai have been drawing a little comparisons lately. Not right now, because I mean Shai's in MVP talks and Cade is on just breaking out talks really. But I've seen talks about their trajectory and Cade in year 4, very similar to Shai in year 4. So yeah, I think they'll be there. And then Curry and Kuminga both going to be, repping their home crowd. You might be thinking like, well, where are the 3v3 teams? I hate the 3-on-3 teams that they have for the skills challenge. I think they need to get rid of it, just totally destroy that concept because it just isn't as good. Like we see like the rookies like team, they like never win. The brother team, like we don't need like Drew Holiday's brothers. We don't need Giannis's brothers. Like, they just, it's not really fun to watch really. Especially when like one guy is really doing most of the work. And honestly, like the one year when Giannis was in it, he wasn't even the one hitting shot. I think it was like Thanasis that was hitting the most like shots on that section. So bring back the old skills challenge. I'm not going to make predictions for if it's a 3-on-3 thing because I think that's stupid. So there's that. 3-point contest though. Here's my 8. I got Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Nikola Jokic, Cam Johnson, Peyton Pritchard, Harrison Barnes, Tyler Hero, and yes, I do have Steph Curry in this as well. So let's start with the first two. Garland and Mitchell, both shooting over 40% from 3 this year, both on the top team in the league at the time of this recording. So I feel like you got to put them both in it. Donovan Mitchell's done it the last few years. I think he still wants to do it until he wins one. And then, Darius Garland, I think he's earned it as well. Jokic has actually shot really well from 3 this year. So maybe, I could see him just saying, I'm good and I'll pass on this one. But I don't know. I think it'd be kind of cool to see how he does. Cam Johnson has earned it. Harrison Barnes has earned it. They both have been like knocked down 3-point shooters throughout the year, really, start to finish. Well, we're not at the finish line. Start to midway. Peyton Pritchard, that guy is literally like a sniper. Like, he just does not miss. I would love to see him in a 3-point contest, and I don't think he's been in one yet. So I think it'd be cool. I know Tyler Hero's been in it before. I think he'll do it again. I think he's warranted a spot. And then I do think Curry comes back. It's in Golden State. I feel like he would want to try and win one in front of their home crowd. So, yeah, I guess it's kind of hard. Like, I know I didn't actually pick a winner or anything for, like, a Rising Stars or anything like that. I guess I'll say my Saturday winners after the fact. So, I won't say anything there yet. Dunk contest, my 4. One of them's already been leaked. So, Stephon Castle is going to be in it. I think you got to bring Mac McClung back. He's the back-to-back champ right now. I think Amen Thompson would be pretty cool. Get him in there. And then Modest Buzelis for the Bulls. I think that would be nice. As much as you want to see, like, put in Ja, put in Ant, like, my predictions are kind of based on, like, what I'm expecting. That would be cool to see all that. But I don't expect to see a Ja Morant. I don't expect to see an Anthony Edwards. I don't expect to see a Zion Williamson. I don't expect to see any of these guys in the dunk contest. Or if there is, then it's not going to be a lot of them. Last year we got Jaylen Brown, who was like the first star we've seen do it in a while. And actually a lot of people hated his performance. So I don't know. I just don't think we're going to get that. If I had to pick a winner for each of those contests, because I think those are the 3 that like would be more set in stone. The Rising Stars, they'd have to do a draft. The actual All-Star game, there's going to be 4 teams, and you don't know who. Skills challenge, I'll go with, I think Cade. I think Cade Cunningham will win it. 3-point contest, I could see Curry winning it, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with a little crazy pick. I'm gonna go Peyton Pritchard. I think Peyton Pritchard takes it home. And then the dunk contest, I don't know, man. Do we have Mac McClung win his 3rd in a row? I'm looking at these guys. I just feel like he'll pull off the most impressive dunks. I think Buzelis would put up a great fight if he were in it. I think really everyone in this dunk contest would. Amen Thompson, he would get up like crazy high. Stephon Castle probably would be the least likely to win, I'm guessing. Just of these guys, even though he's insanely athletic too. I'll go with Mac McClung again. I think after that, then he might be done for good. Not that like we don't mind seeing it. We just want to see great dunk contests. I think that's the big thing. So now for the All-Stars. I'm literally just going to rattle them off, and I'm just going to tell you my thoughts. And then we can get into this little, fun section afterwards. So here we go. So Eastern Conference All-Stars. My starting five: Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Giannis, Cat. My bench consists of Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Jaylen Brown, Evan Mobley, Pascal Siakam, Damian Lillard, Trae Young. I'll talk about it in a sec. Okay, so let me say the West as well. My starting lineup, I have Steph Curry, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron, Durant, Jokic. My bench, I have Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Alperen Sengun, Anthony Davis, Victor Wembanyama, James Harden, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Okay, so let me start with the East, okay? I think the starting five is pretty fair. I don't think there's really much to talk about. Jalen Brunson deserves it. Donovan Mitchell deserves it. Tatum, Giannis, Cat, they all deserve it. I think Cade deserves it for sure. Darius Garland's a little bit of a tricky one. But it is a really tough year where the Cavs are playing so well that all these teams that you see, and let me preface this again. These are predictions of what I think will happen, you know? Most of it is kind of things that I want to see, or what I would normally pick is like my 12. But I also think this is probably the likeliest outcome of what will happen. Darius Garland will make it, especially with them being so high, and he's played well. You could argue he's in the clutch player of the year talks right now. Jaylen Brown will make it. Evan Mobley will make it. I feel like not much to discuss there. I do think Dame will make it. I don't know why people want to talk about like Dame, like he's not that player anymore or something. He's played great. Like he's played just about as good this year as a lot of other years. He's been with like Portland. He has to get in there. Now, this is where it's tough because you could argue, I think, Jalen Johnson over Pascal Siakam. But if that's the case, I just don't think they would put two Hawks players in. And I feel like if you have to pick one, you have to pick Trae Young. It just doesn't seem like it'd be right if they picked Jalen Johnson to make it and he didn't pick Trae Young. Like that, the biggest reason they've been winning games, especially over the stretch, is just I think Trae Young has really developed as a leader this year, and I think he needs credit for that. But I could see Jalen Johnson making it. It was also really hard to leave Tyler Hero off this. And between those two and I think Jared Allen, those would be the next three I would probably pick on this list. So it's a tough call. The Pacers have really been playing well lately. I think they're at 5th at the time of me recording this, so they probably have to get somebody. It's just the way it is. The Western Conference, starting lineup, Steph will make it. Shai definitely deserves it. You know LeBron's going to make it. Durant definitely deserves it. Jokic definitely deserves it. Now with Luka's an interesting case because I think he'll get voted in, but I could see the argument for him not even making the All-Star team. He's just missed so many games. And Kyrie has been really the better player. But when they're all on the floor, you know it's Luka's team. So I could see that spot really being replaced by Kyrie, if anybody, just to give the Mavericks some representation. But it's just, I don't know. I don't think the league will do that. I think they'll make sure Luka gets in some way, shape, or form. So that's why I had to put him in. Anthony Edwards, you know he'll be in. You know AD and Wemby will be in. I do think Sengun gets in. I mean, the Rockets have been the second best team in the West like almost all year. He's elevated his game. He's the biggest reason they're that good. And the West front court is probably one of the weaker spots for All-Star voting, aside from the top 3 or 4. So I think he gets in. I think Jaren Jackson gets in and not Ja. I think Jaren Jackson's probably been their best player this season so far. That might be crazy, but Ja's numbers have been a little bit down. Jaren Jackson, I'm pretty sure at the time of this, he's the leading scorer on the team. He's playing Defensive Player of the Year caliber ball. And there's been a lot of games, too, where Ja's missed, and he's really taken over, which we saw that a few years back. So I think that he's really played well this year, and he's earned a spot. And then, Harden, this is so tough because it very well could be like Norman Powell. It's the same thing I say with Luka and Kyrie. This could be Norman Powell, and I think the people want to see Norman Powell. I would probably rather see Norman Powell, even though I also, like Harden. But you can't deny that the Clippers' biggest reason why they are where they are right now is Harden. It's just point blank and simple. He demands so much attention. he's really looked like one of the best playmakers in the league once again this year. And yeah, you just really can't deny that. I mean, there are some snubs. I mean, like I said, didn't have Kyrie on here, didn't have Norman Powell on here. Just trying to think, like Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams has a real case. Honestly, you could argue over maybe like a Şengün or maybe over a Jaren Jackson Jr. I probably wouldn't argue that, but I think it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for that to happen. I don't have Devin Booker on here. I just think he's kind of had like a really slow opening to the year. I know he's been better lately, but too little too late. So after that, those are all my All-Star predictions for the season. Before we get into the guest spotlight thing or whatever, I forgot, so I did not do an honor of the week with all of them for the season because I wanted to just, pick one for myself. And I feel like it only makes the most sense to do the honor of the week for this week is one of the guys who has the most All-Star MVPs, and that would be Bob Pettit. I could have picked Kobe as well, but the reason I wanted to pick Bob Pettit is I feel like not enough people talk about him. Wanted to give him his flowers a little bit. And, just thinking about him, he's one of the only players, ever who pretty much only made an All-Star team, throughout every season of his career. He played more than a decade. He's really one of the first bigs who, started kind of shooting away from the basket a little bit more. So I think he deserves credit there, too. And I feel like he, first guy to ever average, 20 points a game every season of his career, played more than a decade, too, while doing so. You definitely got to give him his credit. So I just feel like there's not enough people that really, I guess give him the respect he deserves. So that's why he's kind of the honor of the week, I would say. And a few years ago, a year and a half ago, when I was able to, meet Lenny Wilkens in person, which was really cool because, he's probably one of, if not maybe the best player I've ever face-to-face interacted with. And it was just really cool kind of talking with him a little bit, and obviously the connection that he had with Bob Pettit as well. So that's something I definitely respect and feel it's just, I don't know, it's a little unfortunate. I feel like people kind of overlook him when we're talking about some of the greatest players in NBA history, especially the guys that came beforehand, like I said. So I just want to give him a little shout out. If no one else will, then guess what? I will. You already know that's usually how it goes. But yeah, with all that being said, shout out Bob Pettit, and you can tell me if my predictions are right or wrong in the comment section below. But I think now we're going to get on to the guest spotlight portion of the show. That's where the show will end. So I guess I'll send you guys there. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Peace. Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm here with my guy, G, here for Bullony Basketball, and here with my guy, NBA Real Talk. My guy, Noah, has joined the show on this segment with my guy, StreakyHeat.
What's up, guys? What's up, bro? How you doing?
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
What's good, my boy?
Yo, what's going on, man?
This is kind of like a guest spotlight episode part. You guys have seen me do this before, but I just kind of want to talk about a few All-Star Weekend things. I think, one of the first things I want to start off with, who would you say is maybe one of those breakout stars that could be an All-Star in about a month from now?
I feel like maybe not a guy who's necessarily elevated his game because we were all kind of waiting for him to come back from injury and waiting for that breakout season. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Cade, that's a big name. He's guaranteed All-Star at this point. I'm of the mentality that he's probably a starter at this point. The East backcourt is pretty stacked right now, but I'm pretty confident he should be a starter. The other big name, I guess, is Garland. I think he had a pretty fall-off season not really fall-off, but, definitely not as up to his potential as he has been the last couple of years. And he's putting his team in a position to actually contend this year.
I got a really unoriginal answer for you, but I just think from what I've been seeing and how much he's popping up and what he's doing, I think Wembanyama. I know that's sort of he was already kind of touted as a generational talent and everything anyway, but I think anyone who's that naturally rawly gifted, a stairway to greatness is going to go. He's one of those guys with like GOAT potential. You know what I mean? Like the way he's just elevating his game, just becomes more of a bully, doesn't settle for those outside shots as much as he does.
Right.
I really think he can be beyond just a generational talent. Better than Giannis was for this generation, or better than LeBron was for the last generation. Like he can really be that guy.
It's been a really different season this year. Like it just feel different. Like who I really think should if we was to have a new All-Star, someone that's never made, I think it should be Tyler Hero. Bro always been a bucket, but I just feel like now like he don't take it to a different level. I feel like he can only get better. Especially with the whole Jimmy Butler drama. He's basically the number one, or is the number one option. And you could say he's the best player on the team.
I definitely have to go with Cade Cunningham here because, I mean, he's been a stud for a while. Like, he was a number one pick for a reason, at a career best right now. And the fact that his team is actually winning, it's just the whole combination of it. Like, he's obviously their guy. He's their star player. So, like, to kind of represent Detroit back in the All-Star game, that would be pretty nice to see. So, yeah, Cade Cunningham for sure.
I've been a big Cade supporter. I know he's had, like, a lot of injuries, like, his first couple years. So, it's good to see him finally, like, being healthy and getting that shine and leading the Pistons to some success, because they haven't had it like in forever. Garland's a good one because he just kind of, I don't know what happened really last couple years. Like ever since Mitchell got there, it seemed like he just like kind of fell back. The best of any season they've been there together, that they can coexist.
I guess the other big name I wanted to bring up also is Hero. The backcourt is phenomenal. He might be that last guy who gets in. I'm kind of rooting for him right now.
I know LeBron like had early success too, but I don't even know if he was really like, you could argue a top 5 player his second year in the league. I think he was second team All-NBA. Wemby might be first team All-NBA this year. He might like scrape in like one of those last spots or something like that. We probably haven't seen a guy like that since the last big man to do it for the Spurs, probably Tim Duncan.
The way Giannis took those, we'll say, I can't remember the exact timeline, we'll say about 5 years to hit that point. It's like, I feel like Victor is already like almost there.
I'm not gonna lie, even before the whole Jimmy thing totally broke out, I was kind of thinking he was playing like the best player on the team already.
I feel like Jimmy's always been always overrated. He turned up in the playoffs and he has good defense, but I just feel like, I don't know, bro. So like when the Heat said they didn't want to pay him, I was like, okay. I ain't too mad at it, but yeah, I definitely feel like Tyler Hero, or if it wasn't him, Cade Cunningham.
It's definitely going to depend like where the team is. I don't think they need to do a whole lot more, but I think if they stay right about where they're at, he should get in. As a Cade believer myself for the longest, it's nice to see him finally on the winning side of things, because we know how bad it was last year where they were on like that 4-36 through 40 games type of start.
Yeah,
I think he will get in for sure, especially the way he's been playing lately. Like it's really hard to deny that he should even be in the All-Star game.
Exactly.
I guess another thing that I'll ask you though right now, if you want, on the contrary side of things though, now with someone who's normally in the All-Star game or normally All-Star caliber and just hasn't played like one this year, when you hear that, I guess like who's the player that comes to your mind for this season?
I mean, for me, the biggest disappointment is Tyrese, who's definitely better in December, but October, November was like, I couldn't even watch the Pacers. Like, Tyrese was so pathetic. And even now, he's obviously not the best player on his team. You have Siakam around him too. He's kind of carrying the load, and they have all the role players to surround Siakam now to take more of the load off Tyrese. So I guess I'm just disappointed that Tyrese is not even really in contention anymore.
Again, super unoriginal, super like obvious choice. And even though he's in a rut, even for his bad standards, it's got to be Paul George. I mean, it's not so much just that he's this, what does he make, 55 million or whatever he's getting paid.
About 55 too much.
I know he was doing a little bit better lately, but what is he averaging now? It's still probably can't be more than like 17 or something. And the reason I pick him specifically, because like I said, I think he's also in a rut, so he could come out of it, is that, and he seems like a decent guy. I'm not saying he's a bad person, but his attitude towards everything in the game, it just seems a little too representative of what people are fed up with in the NBA. Here's the guy who's like, I want a vacation on All-Star weekend. Nobody takes it serious and stuff like that. He's bored, and in the bubble he was depressed. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't want to like harp on it. People are human beings. They want to keep it real, but sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's easier to think that way when you're just a peasant. But it's kind of like, if I was in that position, I would just try my best to not say certain things, especially when it comes to like the problems surrounding the games.
I really just think, like, for me, it was more so like I was thinking just like, who I don't want to see on there at all.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really like how Sabonis. I didn't really like how Evan Mobley was so high. Where's Zach LaVine? The fact that Tyrese Halliburton don't even make the list is crazy. When he's putting up basically the same numbers like a guy like Chris Paul or Rondo. I know people be saying he kind of fell off, but I just feel like, you know, like maybe just at a different level. But Melo having so many votes is interesting. This just goes to show that seeding doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, at this point.
Definitely have to go with the homer pick here. Bam Adebayo, bro. It's been dreadful, man. Like, he just came off the Olympics, and in the Olympics he was really impactful, even if it was a smaller role. I was like, yeah, like he's gonna have a great season. He's still in his prime. He just looked like a shell of himself, man. Like, he's not aggressive. The shots that were hitting before, that little mid-range jumper he always relies on, is just not going. Hasn't been great, man. Obviously, the defense is always going to be solid. Obviously, he's my guy. He's on my favorite team, so like it hurts a little more extra.
The start of the year, it really felt like it was Siakam and Mathurin, like kind of doing most of the charge. And I mean, Halliburton's been better. It seems like it's too little too late for the sake of the All-Star game. Now, if he can keep it up like the rest of the season, then it's going to look really good, because it seemed like from middle of last season, like right after the in-season tournament, he like started to fall off. Maybe is it because he didn't get the surgery he needed like after that one injury, and so hopefully he can continue playing at this level and it doesn't like revert back to like that form again.
Yeah. Well, if you're starting a team, do you want the face of your franchise to be Tyrese or Cade?
It's a great question, and I've actually asked a similar question, I think, to my guy Sunsgeek when I had him on a few episodes ago, but it wasn't Cade. It was, if you're the Pacers, do you build mostly around like Tyrese as like the focal point as a scoring option, or like Ben Mathurin? I am more confident, I would say, in Cade though. And that's not to say Halliburton isn't great. I feel like though Halliburton would be best served as like a Chris Paul prototype, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like Halliburton has the pieces around him that he can take a scoring step back and let those other guys flourish a little bit more, if that answers your question.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a great answer. I think I'm not even gonna argue with that, because Mathurin is, I guess, on the perimeter, he's like the main scorer out there. So, and Tyrese, yeah, I think he can take that Chris Paul-esque role. I mean, he's not really anywhere where Paul was on the defensive end, but yeah, same respect, yeah.
But he's still talking like he's that guy, and he's been talking like he's that guy, and that's why he's got that. You know, he went from playoff P, pandemic P, podcast P. Now he's kind of like pitiful P.
It fell off P.
Yeah, fell off. Yeah, exactly. Fell off P.
Yeah, I mean, and even like maybe you could go back to like when he was on the Pacers, that one playoff game. I remember like CJ Miles took the last shot and he's like, nah, I need the ball there. Like, and he made a big deal about like, you know, it's like, dude, like, then, you know, like have that conversation, but like you're taking it to the media. It's just like immature just in general, like with the production we've seen that's been lacking as well. Like, and he's even been playing. It's just like Paul George has just not been playing to his caliber that he used to. And this is kind of the thing you saw like last year. Like people started to see like, he's not really the same player as much anymore. Like, he's kind of taking a step back. So when the Sixers went all in on him, it was like a lot of teams really weren't that moved.
And you can't underrate, like, he broke that leg years ago and he had an amazing comeback.
Yeah.
Little things like that can come back later in your career, and his shoulder issues ongoing through his career. I think it's a situation where sometimes you're going to go through stages in your career where you're kind of just there, and that's one thing. But it's like, if you're the guy who's just there, you're not really elevating or doing anything special, don't do the things and say the things you did when you thought you were all that. If that makes any sense.
No.
You know, like, I think you have to take a different approach to the way he handles everything, and if he can become a bit more of a graceful verbalist, maybe he can return to all-star form, because I think a lot of it with him is up there.
And I know at least Halliburton, in like this respect, like probably it seems like probably the narratives around it, like he just won't make it this year, even though like he has turned up recently. And I feel like some other guys, maybe like Paul George or like Joel Embiid, like they're just not gonna. I mean,
yeah, well, PG, he don't deserve to make it, but Paul George, but Zach LaVine, I was like, where is Zach LaVine at, bro? You know what I'm saying? I ain't surprised, and then I'm not really surprised. But Chicago, Chicago. To anyone who is watching this, like, if you, like Chicago's like it's in the top 3 biggest markets in the league. So to not have a player from the city is crazy. Like I didn't like it's fucking crazy. It's gonna be an interesting game, Brody. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the list is definitely gonna shock a lot of people. I can already tell by the fans.
Honestly, like a breakout star this year, and some people have said Tyler Hero. Well, I mean, if Tyler, and I'm sure you would even agree though to that, but it's like the fact that he's broken out like that, it's really put Bam under the radar, and he really hasn't played like an all-star like he has the last couple of years, which is what you were kind of alluding to.
For sure. I've always been a Hero believer, so like this, surprising or not, it's not really like shocking to me. Like I feel like he's always had at least this level of potential. I don't know if he's ever going to be a superstar, but like if you told me like a year or two after he was drafted that Hero was going to be an all-star, I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right.
So we might be seeing him in about a month in San Francisco, but probably not Bam from what it seems. Next thing though, I'll move on to ask you, and then we'll get into the mini game right after. But this year at All-Star Weekend, we've still a lot to figure out with like how the All-Star game format's gonna work. But what would you want to see from All-Star Weekend this year?
You're kind of having the same dilemma as you did as you are with the NFL, right? Where fans are losing interest in All-Star Weekend. Like it used to be so fun. Players in the NFL, when they had Pro Bowl weekend, they would actually, put some effort in. Since 2016, really, there hasn't really been a very good dunk contest. The 3-point contest is still entertaining. I actually like what they've done with the skill challenge. I love the Rising Stars game. I think it's a great opportunity. We think the Rising Stars think that the Deion Waiters, Tim Hardaway Jr. matchup. The game itself it's like unwatchable almost at this point. So I'm excited to see if this will change it at all, but I guess I'm excited to see what the 4-team structure kind of plays out to.
The only thing I ever really care about is the dunk contest. 3-point contest is obviously fun to watch. Skill stuff is the skills. I'd like to see them add some other things. Really, it's the dunk contest. And most dunk contests, unless there was like a serious one the year before, like the Levine Gordon days or something, where you really got, or like the Jason Richardson stuff in the early 2000s. We had McClung a few years ago, like that was pretty cool. I kind of just go in like hoping like there'll be a couple of good dunks. Through the good contests and the bad, I feel like a lot more effort and a lot more has been put on the line in the skills. The guys in those skills competitions are out to prove something. And I think, unfortunately, the desire for the All-Stars in the game to prove something is it's been lost for a while. That's nothing new.
I've been watching since 2017, so it's like I've seen it change every single year. Like it's kind of cool. When it comes to like the events, like the skill challenge, I never really watched that live. To be honest, I always kind of find the dunk contest a little boring. I just kind of feel like all the dunks are really the same. The 3-point contest, I take that back. I do like the 3-point contest. So hopefully the 3-point though, it would be cool to see who they have on the 3-point contest. Maybe Zach can make that. Probably not though. But it's gonna be really cool to see how they like do the whole format. Like if the players are really into it, or a tournament or something like it. Yeah. How's that even gonna all fit on the court? I don't even know if they're gonna do a draft this year. Are they doing that? Is that happening?
That's a good question. I don't know if they're gonna like still pick the same amount of all-stars and then draft, or if they're just.
Then they're talking about these GMs. Like it's so goofy.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I've never really been the biggest fan of the skills competition. The format isn't really like that engaging. They're kind of just doing like drills and stuff, right? Like there's nothing like spectacular. For the 3-point contest, honestly, I don't really have many issues with it. Like I loved the Sabrina versus Steph thing last year. That was awesome. I don't know if they're gonna do a duos thing or like what, because I remember last year after they did it, they're talking about maybe doing like Steph and Clay versus Sabrina and someone else, but obviously that's kind of awkward now that Clay's on the Mavs. But the dunk contest, the biggest question mark. Mac McClung, that's obviously fantastic for the league. I think it's like it's not a gimmick, but it's a great kind of story. I don't really know if there's a way to fix it. Like the only thing I could think of is like a Ja Morant or Zion. It's like some of the league's best all like one season decide like, oh, we're all gonna do this to try to save the dunk contest, and they just put on a show. Lastly, obviously the game, just trying something new. Like even if it doesn't work, it's like at least they're trying to innovate, because people just weren't gonna try enough. So I feel like giving them maybe a newer reason to put more effort in could work. I don't know if it will, but I mean, hopefully.
It was like the Shooting Stars challenge. Like that was like the coolest thing. It felt like, you know what I mean? I also like the skills challenge, like side by side type of thing. You know what I mean? Where it's like elimination style, like a race type of, you know, like that was cool. But I do agree. I think the biggest thing is just like the effort put into the game. You don't see like those personal battles happen as much anymore. The most recent one I could think of, and it really wasn't even that long, but it was like, I think it was like 3 years ago when like Tatum and Brown went like back and forth for a couple plays because they were on opposite teams.
Yeah.
But like that was only like I think 2 or 3 minutes like that happened. Like it wasn't like the Dion or Tim Hardaway thing. That felt like almost a whole quarter that was going on. Or like I think even like people forget like Kyrie and Brandon Knight before Brandon Knight really fell down. Like they were going at it too, and then Kyrie got the last laugh with that one. So it's probably why you see the format changing. It's like Adam Silver's trying to do something different. Like maybe it'll spark some motivation, like to play defense in the game and like, you know, competitive games like down the stretch. Even like the skills challenge thing, like I want to see, like obviously I like the original like version where they had like the time and stuff, and I actually really did like the version they had where they had like a race like up and down the court in like a bracket format. But I'm not a fan of like when they went like these trio teams and stuff like that. Like it's just like it was cool at first, but like we don't really need to see Giannis and his brothers every year. Like, like they've overstayed their welcome. You know what I mean? They remember like Levine and Gordon going back and forth because there were two dunkers competing like that. Like even Mac McClung was cool, but like it felt like no one really competed with him. Like when he was you know.
Yeah, that was just the last time I remember seeing a cool dunk, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all I really hope for out of the All-Star weekend. A couple cool dunks and maybe some comedy. Because what's the skills one where you have to go to like what do they call that one? Whatever, the skills challenge.
Yeah.
Where you got to go, you know, do the layup. It's like sometimes you see guys like I remember Scotty like can't hit that 10-foot jumper.
Him and
can't
Maxey.
hit the target. It's like that's a good time for everybody. So I mean that stuff is fun. And when we got like a lot of snipers or you got like guys setting records or guys just heating up, the 3-point contest is fun too. I look forward to the All-Star weekend, the All-Star game. To be honest, I don't remember the last time I watched it. I couldn't tell you. If it's 5 years, 10 years. Like I just because it's become so unmemorable that like I'm like, did I watch it that one year? I don't know, because it's just like it didn't. It's you wish it mattered a little bit.
Really, the last like decade, probably the best, I guess, All-Star game is probably the one where they had it was like after Kobe passed and they like changed the format a little bit, but like it was a close game, and like I know like Kawhi went on, like it felt like really a lot of the star players actually played well and played hard down the stretch, you know.
Yeah, that was the 2021, right?
Yeah, in Chicago.
It was in the back of my mind. I was like, that's the last time I remember there being an All-Star game. It was like, this is kind of interesting. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And maybe they were all inspired because of that.
Yeah, so it seems like, at least for you, I would say probably the two biggest things are just like the consistency, like from each week, like each All-Star year, and then also just the dunk contest, if they can like really
like
find ways to make it better.
Yeah, because it just be so boring, bro. But like I feel like the last one I really enjoyed, it was like 2020.
Yeah, that was a good one.
2019, I like 2019. That was good. I thought 21 I thought the one in Atlanta, I like that one because I like the jerseys, the red, the yellow and blue ones. I like that one. I didn't really like the one in Cleveland. I didn't really like the one in Utah, just because the court was ugly as hell. But it's gonna be in San Francisco. I think that's a great location. People be complaining about the location. I think that's a perfect location.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
But them All-Star tickets be crazy though, bro. Like
they were around here for several years in the Midwest, and every time they were so
like I remember I think I saw even a nosebleed was like like 400. I'm like, bro, like y'all no.
Yeah.
I guess because y'all really taxing because y'all got all these names in the building, huh?
Yeah, it just comes down to like the effort, and like maybe this will spark some more like effort. But the dunks is just really like that's just the biggest thing, and it's like, will they like abolish the dunk contest, like because it's just not it anymore, or are they just gonna like, you know, maybe get new judges, or is that gonna really do anything?
I don't know if you remember last year's contest, the whole Kenny Smith, the whole Kenny Smith situation. That was for the 3-point contest, right? Yeah. So to your point about maybe some new judges, that could, you know, be a little nice refresher. The idea of like incentivizing the league's best dunkers, whether it's like more money or just like something that could help their team in the actual season, to promote like, oh, if you participate in the contest and you win, it's like it's actually gonna be worth it.
When they first did the captain thing for the All-Star game, that first year it was really good, and then like the in-season tournament, it was really good. Like the first year, like players were competing. I don't get why they can't like have that same like focus toward like the dunk contest or something like that.
It really just depends like how much they're willing to actually try.
If you want, we can keep it pushing here. We can go on right to the mini game called the Rose Gold Trivia Minigame. So my favorite player ever, D Rose, retired before the season. So basically, I've been honoring him throughout this, this season with the Rose Gold Trivia Minigame. So the first and last question are 10 points if you get it right, 0 if you get it wrong. And questions 2 through 4 in the middle, depending on how close you are, you can get partial credit.
So we got the Derrick Rose themed trivia game. You got it all, man. There's no stopping you. You're just such a savant.
There's just a million things.
And they all about poo, right?
Yes.
Derrick Rose. Okay.
Yes, to some extent. Some of them are a little bit trickier though, but
yeah.
At the very least, the first one I think should be a gimme.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So, are you ready for the first one?
Ready.
So the first question number 1. What number did D Rose wear with the Bulls?
1.
I want to say it was 1.
Uno. What?
Derrick Rose wore number 1 with the Chicago Bulls.
Number 1's answer is number 1. You are correct. Yeah. There you go. So an easy 10 points right there. And I want to say you're correct. It is. Yeah.
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 I was like pretty sure it was 1, but something really tricky.
Yeah.
Okay, 1.
And that is correct. It is number 1. Yep. Just like that. Pretty simple. That's the first question, so it's pretty easy.
I wonder if someone didn't get that though. Like that'd be crazy. But,
if they didn't, I mean, I might have felt a little offended. Number 1's answer is indeed number 1.
Yep.
So there you go. That was an easy one. You got a free 10 points just like that. How many games in his career did D Rose play where he got 3 or more steals?
83.
Going to 83.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 33.
5.
You're going to roll with just 5 for your answer?
Yeah, because, yeah.
3 steals. 49.
Unfortunately, it's a little too many. So
okay.
how the partial credit would have worked is for every 2 games away you would have got an extra point taken away.
Okay.
But you were more than 20 games off. It was 32.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess 3 plus steals is not really that common.
It's a little tough, especially like,
unless you're Dyson Daniels.
Yeah, Dyson Daniels, he probably has 32 games this season.
Yeah.
No, that is a really good guess. It wasn't 33, it was 32. You were 1 off. So that means you got 9 you didn't get 10 points, but you got 9 points on that one. That's really good.
Okay, I'll take it because you know what? It sounded all right, and then I was like, as soon as I said it, because I'm trying to put his career games in my mind and the injuries and stuff. I'm like, wait, how many games did he play?
Yeah. Correct answer was unfortunately 32.
Ooh.
Yeah. So.
Nah, that's okay. That's impressive though.
You still did get partial credit, because it was 32. So.
Oh.
Yes. So because you were 17 away, you were more than 16 away, but you were less than 18. So that got you 2 points still.
We'll take it. Okay, we'll take it.
What season did D Rose attempt his most 3-point shots per game?
I'll say 2010.
Going 2010?
Yeah.
I want to say it probably would have been with Minnesota or something. 2019?
You going 2019?
Yeah.
The 16-17 season he was with the Knicks. Loki should have won.
So you going 16-17?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, because I remember him shooting more, but that's probably wrong. But that's what I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably the Timberwolves, or maybe the Pistons. Actually, to go that 1920 season.
So you're going 1920.
Yes.
It's not 2010, but it was 2015. So it's still the Bulls era. So
wow.
you got 5 points for that.
Okay. That's
So
not terrible.
it was 2015. So 4 seasons off. It's a little surprising, I think, because you would think probably either Timberwolves, because that's when he was shooting a lot more jumpers, or the MVP year, just because he was shooting a lot. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, my first MVP year, and I'm thinking, when does he become a role player?
yeah,
In any time where it's like he's still Derrick Rose or some semblance of, I'm like, well, why would he be taking threes? He'd be slashing until his knees gave up,
right. 2014-15. So you were 2 seasons off, so you got 8 points.
Okay. That's not bad. Okay.
Not bad.
So he was when he was still in the shot playing in Chicago.
Yeah, it was the year where he hit that game winner against the Cavs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, It was in 2015 with the Bulls.
Wow.
It was a little shocking to me as well, because you think of him. I think the Timberwolves is when he started like shooting the ball the best, like from 3, and then his MVP year too. I mean, he took a lot of shots, so maybe you think that as well. So I don't know. What is Derrick Rose's highest single season NBA salary?
Pre-Supermax era, so it wasn't anything like 50 or 40 or probably even 30. 24.
Going with 24.
Yeah.
23 million?
Going 23 million.
Yeah.
You know how much he made 167 million career earnings. So he wasn't. So that means he only make 20 plus. So, what season? Like what year?
Like, just like what was his highest value for a single season?
25 million.
I think it's in the 20s, and I'm gonna go, to be safe, 22 million.
That's not 24, but it's not a bad guess because it was 21.3.
Oh, nice. Okay, sweet.
Yeah. It's actually shocking it's even that low, too.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Especially, like, because that was after he signed, after he won MVP. It was 21.3 million. So you got 8 points for that because you were only less than 2 million away. So
Basically, I had to go back and just think of the errors and the CBAs and what top guy trying for. It's like, I don't think he ever quite made 25. It was like he had to be over 20.
It's not 25, but
Okay.
it was 21.3 million. So
Oh damn! So he ain't made that much.
yeah, you were within 4 million, so that means you got 6 points.
I really think it'd be more though.
Yeah,
But like I said, the league was different back then.
but you know too, like I think he didn't care as much about that. One, just because he doesn't care about like his money like that. Like
Yeah, he don't seem like one of those.
But also
players
too,
that
it's like his Adidas deal was worth so much, anyways. You know what I mean? Like
he
he was probably making almost more with Adidas than his
the
actual-
Adidas deal was worth like 195 million.
Yeah.
Right?
So
That's a lot of fucking money.
that was a great guess to make because it was 21.3.
Let's go.
So,
Let's go.
you didn't get 10 points, but you got 9 points. That's about as close as you can get without getting it. So
We'll take that.
we'll see if you can get this last one here. So there's only one answer to this. You only get one chance. Besides the Bulls, which team has he played against the least?
I kind of want to go with one of like the West Coast teams. Go with the Clippers.
Going with the Clippers?
The Spurs.
Going with the Spurs? Locking it in?
I don't know why I'm thinking so much like I'm going to figure it out.
Sacramento Kings. I don't know why, but I just thought about them. So that's probably way off. But I thought about a team that's far, far away. Like,
So
from
you're
them.
locking in Sacramento?
Yeah. I low-key want to say the Lakers.
Well, you can.
Yeah, the Lakers. I'll say the Lakers.
So you're saying the
that's
Lakers?
that's probably wrong too. But
Okay.
I don't remember. This is completely just, there's no basis. I'm just going to go with the OKC Thunder because for whatever reason, I just haven't pictured many games with D-Rose playing against the Thunder.
You're locking in the Thunder for your answer?
Thunder, yes.
It is not the Clippers.
Oh no! I was going with either the Clippers or like the Mavs.
Okay, it wasn't either of them. It was the Thunder.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
And Yeah, which is a little
Okay.
shocking because they played like I feel like he played Westbrook and Durant and them a lot when he was younger.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I guess he didn't really play much like after the Bulls. It was the Thunder.
Oh, you know what? Oh wait, no, yeah, they were around pretty much his whole career. Yeah, so
It's a little weird too, because he played them a lot, like when they had Durant and Westbrook, but he just really didn't play them much after he left the Bulls. So
yeah,
it was not the Lakers. It was also not the Kings though, so you don't have to feel bad about switching up there. It was the Thunder actually.
Oh damn, for real? Because that's funny. Because one night, I think in 2010, that's what they debuted against. 2010 opening night. Yeah.
And you're correct, it is.
What? Bro, I promise you. I know you can't see my screen, but I promise you I'm not cheating. That is insane.
Nah,
that was
is
so random because I literally just started rolling through my head like, what are teams that I really don't remember him playing against that often? And it was literally OKC. That is so nuts. Wow.
That's crazy. All in all, still did get 22 points on the minigame. How do you feel about that performance?
Not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, I will tell you, although it's not the highest score, it's not the lowest score either. It's somewhere in the middle.
Awesome. That sounds good. That's relieving.
It's pretty solid. You still got 33 points. I will tell you that's not the highest score, but I think that's a top 5 score so far in the season. So how do you feel?
well, it better be. I'm feeling cocky about my 33.
That's definitely somewhere in the top half. I know that for sure.
Oh, it better be. It dang sure better be.
I think like
Especially
that half.
Derrick Rose, so that was all off the cuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure about his number.
That is true. The hardest one that you got correct was probably his number, which is the first.
Yeah.
Even though you didn't get any points for that one, you still ended with 24 points. That's
Kobe.
Just like Kobe. You're right. But that's not bad. That's somewhere I think in the middle. It's not the highest score, but it's not the lowest score. So
I'm surprised they even got 24 because usually I don't even be doing it.
And maybe the D Rose trivia might be right up your alley. So.
Oh God.
You're only the third person on the season to get a question 5 correct, and you're the only person to get this question 5 correct. So.
Let's go.
That puts you at 36 points, and I'm pretty sure that's the second best score on the season so far.
Oh wow, we'll take it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's huge. So
I finished off strong. Yeah, 9 and 10 for the last 2 rounds. That's perfect.
You did. I was thinking like maybe the salary one, like if the salary one tripped you up, like it probably wouldn't have been there, but you really finished strong with the 19 and 20. Appreciate you joining me on this segment for Bullony Basketball. I don't know if you have anything you want to add here before we wrap it up.
All good. Thanks for having me on as usual, my man.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Do you have anything you want to add before we close this one out?
No, man, just keep doing what you do and keep pumping out this kind of content because somebody out there is definitely enjoying it because I sure am.
Do you have anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
Make sure y'all subscribe to my boy, man.
Yes,
and
sir.
Follow. Appreciate you.
Keep watching my guys' videos. That's all I gotta say. Appreciate you having me again as usual, and yeah, I'm excited for the next thing we do because these are always fun.
Yes, sir. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.